Here's Brody Brazil.
So let's talk about Major League Baseball and performance-enhancing drugs. Because every time somebody gets suspended, for 80 games again, I get a ton of questions from fans and viewers, and they want to know, what was somebody thinking? Did they believe they weren't going to get caught? Why would they even try this? They probably didn't need it. And look, I'm not here to say that I have all the answers. I'm definitely not here to speak for anyone or everyone who's been suspended by baseball for PEDs. But I will say there are some elements and some dots that I can connect and make a little bit of sense with. Again, I can't step in somebody else's shoes, but from an outside perspective, I think I see some things, which I will share with you in just a second. But first, the main point of this video, there's a lot that makes no sense of how anyone in this age, any Major League Baseball player, could get caught and could get suspended for violating the drug policy, specifically with PEDs. Like, how does this happen? It does not make sense. Let me start with that part that I think I do understand. Steroids are not about helping you hit a baseball farther, right? Like, that's what a lot of fans tie it to because of the era of the 90s and the 2000s and a Barry Bonds and a Mark McGwire and a Sammy Sosa. And hitting a ball farther was what was instantly tied to steroids or performance-enhancing drugs. And that may be the case, but here in a more modern time and era, it's all about staying healthy and staying fresh. Steroids help you so that day 16 in a row only feels like hour 16 in a row, if that makes sense. Your body can recover quicker. It doesn't get beat down. Baseball is a grind, right? You have to survive 162 games in a season, playing a lot of times 6 and 7 nights a week, week after week, month after month. And so baseball players are looking for avenues to help keep them healthy and fresh and strong. And in the case of Fernando Tatis Jr., now, I'm not going to speak for him here, but just go ahead and connect the dots. This is what I understand. He's been out all season. He's been injured with the wrist. And maybe over time, subconsciously, there's almost like a guilt factor. And why should that be? No, it's ridiculous, but it's also human nature. He just wants to be out there helping his teammates. He's frustrated by maybe setbacks or how long this is taking to fully get back to feeling like himself. And so maybe that's why under certain circumstances, players will take the risk. They will, kind of budge to trying anything they can to help them get back sooner and stronger. Now, that's as far as I'll take it here with any one individual, because again, I don't know the full story, the whole story, and I don't want to speak for everyone. And it's not just Fernando Tatis Jr. There are others in baseball that I know, and there are a lot more that I don't know that have been served similar suspensions for PED usage. But that is kind of a common theme. A player who is either playing through injury and you didn't even know about it, or who is away from the game and rehabbing or whatever they're doing, but they're not even playing and they're trying to get back to it. And either way, the thought is steroids might help my recovery time. But that's pretty much the only thing, and I'm not justifying it. I'm saying I understand how this happens and the scenario in which this happens. Again, don't get me wrong. We call it performance-enhancing drugs. It's less about getting a better ERA or batting average or hitting more homers than it is being and feeling healthy every single day. From what I understand, again, right? From what I understand on the inside, that's what steroids are more about than the actual stats and results. And I just mentioned ERA. Let's not forget, right? A lot of times it's power hitters, it's position players certainly that get in trouble for PEDs, but over all the years, pitchers have been pretty immune to criticism and to discipline on this. I'm just here to say, Don't turn an eye to that and think that it does not happen. All right? So we'll just leave that one there. But here's what doesn't make sense, and I apologize. It's taken me, 5 minutes to get to this point. If my job is one thing, to play baseball for a specific team, and there's only a couple deal breakers that would jeopardize my employment, jeopardize my performance, jeopardize my standing, and if one of those deal breakers is taking a banned substance, don't you think I'd do everything possible to make sure that everything I put in my body is approved? Now, these are baseball players. They're not doctors, but they have the resources, the full resources of trainers and a medical staff and people and a players association to answer every last question. These are the same athletes who take such pride and care in their physical fitness and physique and diet and training. And they know what they're doing. Like they are fine-tuned machines, and they're very specific about routines and meal plans and having a chef cook for you. And you're putting all that into your body because it's fuel. Why would you trust somebody, or why would you take the chance on something that's not approved if it's going to jeopardize your career? We're taking this and talking about this from a Major League Baseball player perspective, but scale it down to you and I. I don't know what you do for a living watching this video. You know what I do. I talk about sports on TV and I make YouTube videos. But if it was told to me that my job would be in jeopardy because of doing something, right, whatever it is, I would make sure every single time that I came close to doing that thing that it was approved, that it was okay. I would send 4 emails. I would double check. I would have more than one source telling me you're good. I would want somebody else to also confirm that. It just seems like this is such a breakdown at a huge level to take that risk, to take that chance, knowingly or not. If you knew what you were doing, it's kind of unexplainable, right? It's a risk. Some will try and take it. Some have probably gotten through it, but a lot of others got caught. And an 80-game suspension is pretty hefty. If you're in season, it pretty much destroys that year. If you're late in a season, it's the rest of that year, it's those playoffs, and it's the start, the very important start of next season too. But I would not risk my career, my employment, my reputation, all of that because I didn't send a couple text messages or a couple phone calls or... That's how simple this is. Doc, can I take this? Can I do this? Am I okay? Double check. Get back to me. I'll give you 12, 24, 36 hours, whatever. Get back to me. Let me know. That's what makes no sense about this. These are not, and again, these are individuals with more resources than you and I to have a doctor on call or somebody to answer our question and know that it's not going to cost $400 to ask your doctor a question. Yeah. I know some of you have felt that frustration too. But again, these are things that in our lives, in your life, in my life, we would probably cross every T, dot every I, circle back to every single thing that could be a problem. We cannot afford to not have a job and to not pay for a house and put food on the table and keep the lights on. Yeah, it's super important to all of us. And it's critical. I mean, we're talking about millions and tens of millions of dollars lost by some of these individuals because of the things that they're doing. And it just took a phone call. It took a message. It took just double checking before you did it. If it really was a mistake. Think how catastrophic that type of mistake is. Anyway, probably ranted too long on all of this, but again, I understand some things. I really don't understand others when it comes to what were you thinking in Major League Baseball.